Biden has cancerous tissue removed and meets with German Chancellor today. Viva la Acadie, the 299 news starts now. Welcome to the 299 news. I'm Matt.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Cameron, our new guest.
Today Cameron today is our new guest. Whoever's watching, the kid in the red sweatshirt is Cam, not me.
Sweater.
I know I'm wearing a
sweater.
Red sweater. Who cares? All right. So today, our first topic is the meeting between President Biden and Olaf Scholz of Germany, Chancellor Olaf Scholz. They met today. The majority of the discussions concerned China and Russia, the possibility for China to supply Russia with Ukraine's, which would compensate for the depleted stockpiles. There has been no definite signs that China is supplying Russia with with weapons. But it is an attempt to keep tight security with Russia and to just keep tabs on both countries, because if China does supply Russia with weapons, that could help Russia in, so far the Ukrainians have been winning, so they're just afraid that the tides of war will turn. So
yeah,
that's kind of how it is. Cam, do you have anything more to add on this?
No, you did wonderful. I'm very impressed. I think that covers it.
All right, yeah. So far in this war in Ukraine, like I said, the Ukrainians have been winning. That's good, and so far China has just been on the sidelines, haven't been
Goddamn Chinese.
adding much to the conflict. But also China and Russia, United States are kind of been in an argument over Taiwan.
Right, yeah, China's been mostly like, can I add something?
Yeah.
China's been kind of like threatening Taiwan. I don't think they've actually landed a force there yet. They've been stationing naval forces outside it. They haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
That's been pretty much what's happened.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much there hasn't been any actual fighting or
yeah, no.
It's just been threats. Like Chinese spy planes going over Taiwan, and recently there was allegedly Chinese balloons are in the United States, but that
we've shot down two or
UFOs.
Three. We shot down 2 or 3 of them, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, I believe one of them was a
spy balloon
that was Chinese. China said it was for civilian use, but we don't know if that's
that one got shot down over the coast of Myrtle Beach. It was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
I knew it was somewhere in South Carolina.
Yeah, it was Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that they found something over Montana, but they didn't want to shoot it down because they were worried it was going to hit someone. So.
Oh, okay. How big was this? How big was it? Do you know?
It was a balloon. That's all I know. Yeah, I watched them shoot it down live, actually. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of there's a balloon they found. Oh, that's weird. And then I go on there, and next thing you know, just debris started falling, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
So this event, I just looked it up, is known as the 2023 Chinese balloon incident. And,
had a date for it, wow.
Yeah.
Creative title.
Name for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
2023 Chinese balloon myths.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk about the Megaprison. So far, in El Salvador, in response to the gang activity and the high death rates. It's been the highest death rates in El Salvador out of all the Latin American countries lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. It's somewhere in El Salvador. And so far, 2,000 convicts have been brought in there, and they have all been like lined up like in rows, mostly like just in underwear, pretty much. That's all they have for clothes, and they're running around pretty much like getting ordered around by the prison guards, and they mostly come from the MS-13 and 18th Street gangs that operate out of Central LA, out of LA and Central America. And this mega prison that they built is supposed to be the world record, like biggest like prison in the world. It's supposed to hold 44,000, and there's one in Turkey that holds 22,000, and so yeah, President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador announced in March that he would be declaring war on the gangs and pretty much going like a rampage, bringing all these suspected gang members into the super prison because of their high crime rate. And so unfortunately they brought in so many, and they've been kind of given crap for how they treat their prisoners by the sorry.
No, you're okay. What type of gangs are these?
They're they're street gangs. Like they're just street gangs. MS-13 and 18 street gangs.
Do they like cause like domestic violence or domestic terrorism?
This facility they called it's called a terrorism confinement center that was built, and actually it's in a Tecoluca, El Salvador, or it's in Tecoluca.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, there are so many like stories about those like the gang problems in like Central and Southern America.
Yep.
Especially with like the cartel and some of the drug issues that they have, and I say that not in no offense to like any like Central or South American countries. They're beautiful places to go. Like,
there's a lot of cartel and gang activity.
There's a lot of sketchy areas and bad like gangs that are just they're domestic they're terrorist groups essentially.
Yeah.
And there's been for all I've known there's been so many issues with it, and like there's because it's not like fighting an enemy that's there, you know, when you're fighting like you take World War II for instance, you're fighting an enemy that is there, you know where they are, and so you can plan an attack. Like fighting against the cartels or other those like gangs,
it's tougher.
Yeah, because you can't fight them directly. You got to be covert about it.
Yeah, so like human rights organizations have been kind of like they've been kind of like criticizing Bukele's decision to declare a state of exception, which is suspending rights to freedom of expression or association and due process. So this is a big deal because like a lot of people that are like there's innocent people that are actually getting caught up in this.
Yeah.
So you could also be having innocent people going into this jail, but actually, and like crime rate has gone down 57% because of this move that Bukele has made. So he's president of El Salvador.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a lot of the violence is concerned with inequality. Is that what you're like a little bit?
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by that? Like
those laws that he put in place. So are just like these So okay, repeat what you said about like the laws. How about
like the laws like like the state of exception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're suspending the rights to freedom of expression, association, and due process.
Mm-hmm.
They're suspending? Okay, so there's
So they're
So
taking
they're-
away rights.
okay.
So they
And-
can like do a mass like arrest and bring a bunch of like gang members into this supermax prison.
Oh, okay. I see. So they're just opening up the possibility to arrest gang.
I mean, they've got 2,000, and they're planning to put in 40,000.
In El Salvador?
Yeah,
Oh, dang.
yeah, they're planning to arrest a lot of people.
Wow.
And therefore violence has been deteriorating.
Yes, it's gone
Okay.
down 57%.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with
It shows how many people they're capturing. Apparently, like from the article that I'm reading, which is called Insider, and it said that over 64,000 suspected gang members have been arrested since the state of emergency was announced in March. So in a month, they've captured 64,000. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of damage, and you can find like videos and like photos of the prisoners in the prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild. They bunch up all together. There's rows of them, and you might think it's a lot, but they're gonna have like a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't reached their goal yet. They're not happy yet. They're not happy yet.
Yeah.
They're not
But
satisfied.
they're making a lot of progress, so they'll probably reach that goal.
Yeah, I think they're good. Yeah, I mean they've
So,
got.
do you know what their goal?
What?
Do you know what their goal is?
Get 40,000 in there.
40,000. And how
That's
much?
how-
is
that's
it?
how-
That's like an entire city, basically.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's bigger than some cities.
That's how much you can hold.
Yeah. It's like bigger
Right
than
now the world record biggest prison is Silivri Penitentiaries in campus in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name I was looking for earlier. It's actually in the Guinness World Record books
Oh, wow.
for 22,000 inmates.
Dang. That's another big
So-
I mean,
That's
for
another city.
a small country like that, I mean it's.
So Sorry, so go ahead.
I mean, I don't know what the population is like in Turkey, but that's a lot of like inmates. For,
Yeah.
like a small like country for like geography.
There's 84 million people in Turkey.
8.4 million.
84 million.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 So
That's like,
if
That's
El
bad.
Salvador is able to meet its goal, then they would beat Turkey in that world record essentially.
Yeah, they'll
Because
hold the
Turkey is
world
22.
record.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they'll be holding the world record.
yeah. Totally.
It's moving on. So before we get onto our history section today, I just thought it'd be important to bring up. You're probably wondering where Cole went. We didn't talk about this when we first started recording today, but just to help explain where he is, I have no idea where he went.
Sam, we'll never know.
He disappeared.
He disappeared. He said hello in the introduction today, but then he just left. So,
I think we need to take a moment of silence.
We're in the
you know.
yeah,
and,
we're in the
hope
same
that-
boat.
hope that he will be found soon.
We're gonna have
Presumably before episode 8. So.
Yeah. All right.
On this day, March 3rd, 2005, Steve Fawcett became the first person to fly an airplane nonstop around the world solo without refueling.
This is history.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, this was on this day.
Huh.
Yep. Do you have any stuff that happened on this day? Yeah.
Well, I have some that go way back. In 1490, the first dated edition of Maimonides' Mishneh Torah, a code of Jewish religious law, is published.
That's cool.
In 1775, Patrick Henry proclaims, "Give me liberty or give me death," its speech in favor of Virginian troops joining U.S. Revolutionary War. Let's go revolution. Let's go Continentals. In 1919, the 8th Congress of the Russian Communist Party reestablishes a 5-member Politburo, which becomes the center of political power in the Soviet Union. Original members Vladimir Lenin, Leon Trotsky, Joseph Stalin, Lev Kamenev, and Nikolai Kristinsky. Then in 1933, the Enabling Act, which is the German Reichstag, grants Adolf Hitler dictatorial powers. That's a very bad day.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Nazi. And then in 1945...
Go on.
And then in 1945, the Battle of Okinawa starts, with the Navy blasting the island with their bombs and their shells, and the amphibious force of Marines and Army moving in. And then, very recently, in 2019, Syrian Democratic Forces announced that the last Islamic State territory has been retaken, raising flags in Baghouz, Syria, and ending the 5-year Islamic State Caliphate. So, what else do we have today?
Alright, today, before we end off, I would like to just talk a quick discussion about the Civil War. And I know last episode we talked about the Napoleonic War, and this is not similar in any way, but we're just going to go in something new, completely new.
Gotta love the Civil War, man. American Civil War.
It's, probably one of the most,
it's one of
I'm going to say, infamous wars in American history.
Yep. It's a very important one.
One that's still very influential to this day.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what's so like.
North and the South and slavery, black people.
Over 100 years ago, and like that war still touches on us today.
Yep. Definitely.
So, yeah, I'll just go with like a quick summary of what it was. So, try to find this kind of. I was talking about still. After Abraham Lincoln was inaugurated, voted in as president in 1864 after the election, southern states, starting with South Carolina, seceded from the Union. And later in 1865, South Carolina would attack a naval fort off of South Carolina's coast, Fort Sumter, which would kickstart the Civil War. Initially, people would thought that the war wouldn't last that long. Just thought it'd be a quick war, but they were highly mistaken.
That's what happens every time.
Yeah. Funny about it is the only people who said that the war would not would last a lot longer than anticipated were deemed like crazy, like they didn't know what they were talking about. Actually, Ulysses Grant, the war would last longer than people are expecting, and well, as you know, he was right. And
he was a smart man.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. He's a controversial
people
figure in history, but
people misjudge him. He was a good tactical leader. And he was a good president. People don't give him enough credit.
I definitely think so too. He was, people judge him because of the strategies he used to defeating Robert E. Lee, and which was a lot of kind of overwhelming force, which resulted in a lot of casualties. But the thing is that you can't blame Grant for making that mistake, because the Civil War weapons were advanced tactics. At that time, the rifles, they invented rifling, which increased accuracy, as well as the mini ball, which which aided in accuracy and provided more like devastating damage.
Yeah.
From we talked about in U.S. history class, or one of the handouts I read, the bullet had grooves, and when it hit its target, or let's say a leg, the grooves would allow to bacteria to grow, which create infections and eventually amputation, which is why a lot of amputations occurred during the Civil War. And this was a lot of like a wake up call, because weapons were becoming
more popular,
more advanced, and humanity was still kind of like the Dark Ages. And that's a bit of like an exaggeration, but it's true. In the war, that's when a lot of new innovations started to kick up, like technology, the telegraph. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What I was gonna say about the grooved bullets is that it made them more accurate than in like the Revolutionary War. That's why like in the Revolution, like the guns were like not all that accurate. They'd move around in the barrel, so end up going like one way. Like, and when they put the grooves in the barrel and the bullet, it made them spiral out, which made them go straight and hit the target a little more better.
Yeah.
It was a little more easier to shoot, and that's why sharpshooters are better. That's why sharpshooters are better in the Civil War. They did more damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Troops.
What, like muskets? Prior to rifling, most of the people that were killed in wars, killed by a bayonet.
Yeah, a lot of close
rifles
quarters.
Rifles were not as reliable as they are today, and were during the Civil War.
And like the Civil War was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Civil War was like kind of the last war that we did open field combat. Like no trenches, no nothing really. It was just open field.
I would say so. Yeah, I would because World
War I, it was trenches, and there was no man's land. But like Civil War, it was just straight like open field.
Yeah, well, with the invention of like automatic weapons, World War I,
it made it more devastating. There's a lot more conditions in World War I.
A lot more deaths in the First World War than the
Civil War.
Civil War. But what's fascinating to me is that these rifles, you'll have one shot.
Yeah.
And these were capable of killing like so many people. You see like the battles between Grant and Robert E. Lee, thousands died. At Antietam, that was a bloodbath.
It was.
They literally called it quits because so many people died.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was bodies piling upon bodies. I think they referred to it as a meat grinder. It was devastating.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Actually, now I do remember that. That was the battle. They also, I mean, years later, they called the Hamburger Hill meat grinder as well.
Mm-hmm. I gotta watch that movie sometime.
Oh, that's a great.
There's a movie on it.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
And that's mostly true about the Battle of Hamburger Hill meat grinder.
Mm-hmm. Or is it meat grinder?
They refer to it as a meat grinder because they were just getting slaughtered. The U.S. infantrymen were just getting slaughtered because they were trying to charge the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. War is a meat grinder.
War is hell.
Yeah.
And I believe I believe that hill was called Hill 807, right, or 809.
Oh, I know. No, you would know more than me with that stuff. With the Vietnam War, but
it was called 809, I think.
So, but also in the Civil War did not just engender new waves of technology, but also in like the social system. So during the war, a lot of the men were conscripted or enlisted into the conflict. So at home, there wasn't a lot of men to work in the whatever, So women had to replace that. And that was a perfect opportunity for women to prove their competence in the workforce.
Yeah.
They
It's the same
substituted
thing.
men. Yeah.
That's what happened for. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
no, you're
you're
good.
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 I was just gonna say, like, in a lot of wars for a long time that happens. Like, I think it still even happens.
Mhm.
Like even
Yeah.
Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's also very known in American Revolution with the forgot what the movement was called in American Revolution, or afterwards to gain rights because they proved themselves. They knew it, but they weren't giving the rights. I guess women's
It was
suffrage.
a feminist movement. Women's.
I don't think it was
Was that-
exactly feminism.
I think that was. I don't think feminism occurred until after the Civil War. I could be wrong.
Actually, no, it was called Republican Motherhood. That's what it was called.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Let
That's interesting.
me verify that.
Okay, well you do that. I'm gonna add on. So, yeah, a lot of women began substituting men in the workforce, and so which they were given the opportunity to prove their competence. A lot of women went into nursing, which helped
Yep.
the improvements in the hospitalization, because from the handouts I read, a quote it became less of a place to die, but a place for like healing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm losing my thoughts. So hospitalization was improving as a result of nursing and innovations, because there were a lot of wounded, so
Yep.
there
Yeah,
had new
there
ideas
were.
in like medicine and hospitalization. But what really makes it interesting is that this kind of engendered the there was a precedent to the feminist movement for the future. It was a moment in history where women proved themselves
Yep.
to work as alongside men.
Right.
And even though they were not given the same benefits as men,
Or
they
rights. Yeah.
they were in the workforce. They
proved themselves.
proved themselves. So do you guys want to end it off here?
I think we need to, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Yep. It was.
Thank
you guys for listening.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you for having me on your special podcast. I love it.
Yep.
I want to do it again.
Yeah. We sure will.
Sure.
Sure will, Cam.
Yeah. Yes. We
Good
sure
having you
will
on.
be on.
And Matthew, virtual handshake.
And just cause. Thanks for being a good co-host.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
All right. Thanks. Thank you guys for.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks. See you guys.
See.